Have you ever pondered upon the fact that you can remember your first day of school, but sometimes you're left scratching your head as to why you walked into a room? Memory, our personal instant replay, is a marvel and a mystery. It transports us back to our initial baby steps, our first encounter with love, and our first heartbreak. However, it can also leave us standing in the middle of a room, puzzled, asking the question, now, why did I come in here again? Why do certain memories engrave themselves into our minds like a chisel on a rock, while others slip away like sand between our fingers? This capricious nature of memory piques our curiosity. It's analogous to a suspense novel with unexpected plot twists at every chapter. One day you're reminiscing every minute detail of a long-forgotten summer vacation. The following day you're racking your brains to remember where you put your keys. But memory is more than just a mental scrapbook. It's a crucial part of what makes us, us. Our memories shape our identities, influence our decisions, and guide our future actions like an unerring compass. They form that weave the intricate tapestry of our lives. And how does this memory magic transpire? It's all thanks to an intricate process involving memory formation, preservation, and recall. Memory formation is our brain's method of capturing experiences like a vigilant photographer at a party. Storage is the album where these snapshots are preserved, always ready for a rerun. Recall, on the other hand, is when we leaf through this album reviving yesteryear's moments. But here's the catch. Our memory album is not a simple, straightforward book. It's a labyrinth, a convoluted maze where memories are stored not as entire images, but as fragments scattered in various nooks and crannies. Recalling a memory means navigating this labyrinth, finding the fragments and piecing them together to form a comprehensive picture. It's an intriguing process, isn't it? However, it also begets a lot of questions. How does our brain decide what to capture and what to let go? Can we influence this selection process? And the million-dollar question, can we improve our memory? Let's set out on a journey to unravel the enigma of our memory, shall we? Every memory starts with a single moment, but how does that moment become a memory? Well, the process is quite fascinating, and it all begins with something we call encoding. Imagine your brain as a sophisticated recording device capable of capturing every sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch you experience. This is encoding, the initial process of transforming information into a construct that can be stored in the brain. It's like the first draft of a novel or the sketch of a painting, raw and unrefined. Once the encoding phase is complete, we move on to the second phase, consolidation. This is where the brain takes that rough draft and starts to refine it. The hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep within your brain, acts as the chief editor in this process. It takes the raw information from encoding and begins to organize it, linking it with existing knowledge and experiences. Think of it as the painter adding depth and detail to the initial sketch. Now we've got a polished piece of information, but it's no good if it just floats around aimlessly. So we need to store it. And that's where the different parts of the brain come into play. The cortex, the outer layer of the brain, acts as the final storage place for most memories. It's like the library where all the refined books, or in this case memories, are kept. But it's not just the cortex that's involved in memory storage. Other regions like the amygdala play a role too, especially when it comes to emotional memories. Ever wondered why you can remember your first heartbreak or the joy of your graduation day so vividly? That's the amygdala at work, ensuring those emotionally charged memories are stored with extra care. So, memory formation is not just about one moment, but a complex process involving many parts of the brain. It's a journey that starts with a single moment, travels through the pathways of encoding and consolidation, and finally finds a permanent home in the vast library of our brain's storage system. So we've formed a memory, but where does it go? How is it stored in our brain? These are questions that have intrigued scientists for centuries, and we're only just beginning to unravel the answers. Memory storage is a complex process that involves various parts of the brain working in concert to encode, store, and retrieve information. The hippocampus, for instance, is like the brain's switchboard operator, directing incoming information to the appropriate storage areas in the cortex. One of the most fascinating theories about memory storage is synaptic plasticity. This is the idea that connections between neurons or synapses can change in strength. Imagine the brain as a network of roads with memories as cars. The more often a car drives on a certain road, the wider and smoother that road becomes, making it easier for the car to drive on it in the future. In the same way, when we repeatedly access a memory, the synaptic connections involved in that memory become stronger, making it easier to retrieve the memory later. Now let's delve into the difference between short-term and long-term memory. Short-term memory is like a notepad where we jot down information we need to remember for a few seconds or minutes. It's limited in capacity, typically holding between 5 to 9 items, and unless this information is rehearsed or repeated, it fades away. On the other hand, long-term memory is like a vast library or a warehouse. It has an enormous capacity and can store information for a remarkably long time, sometimes for the entire span of a person's life. This storage is not just for facts and events, but also skills we've learned, experiences we've had, even our sense of identity. So, memory storage is not a simple case of in one ear and out the other. It's an intricate, dynamic process where information is constantly being encoded, consolidated, and retrieved. Just like a library, our brain organizes and stores memories in an efficient and accessible manner. We've stored our memory, but how do we retrieve it when we need it? Now that's a tantalizing question. Let's delve into the art of memory recall, a process as nuanced and intricate as the creation of a symphony. Imagine your brain as a vast, sprawling library. The hippocampus, a part of your brain often compared to a librarian, plays a crucial role in this process. It's responsible for pulling the books or memories from the shelves and delivering them to you. However, the hippocampus doesn't work alone. It collaborates with the cerebral cortex, the seat of higher thinking and processing in the brain. While the hippocampus is like the librarian, the cerebral cortex is akin to the library's reading room. Here, the memories are unpacked, read, and interpreted. This partnership between the hippocampus and the cortex allows us to recall past experiences, facts, and figures when we need them. Yet, memory recall isn't always a straightforward process. It can be influenced by a myriad of factors, including our mood and environment. Ever noticed how a particular scent or song can trigger a flood of memories? That's because our brain is wired to associate memories with sensory experiences. This phenomenon, known as context-dependent memory, shows how our environment can influence our ability to recall information. Similarly, our emotional state can impact memory recall. You've likely experienced this when a bout of happiness or sadness brings up related memories. This is mood-congruent recall at work, another fascinating aspect of memory retrieval. But it's not always a case of perfect recall. Sometimes the book we need seems to be lost in the labyrinth of the library. Other times memories can be distorted or influenced, turning into what we call false memories. Yet despite these complexities and occasional hiccups, our brain's ability to store and retrieve information is nothing short of remarkable. It's a testament to the intricate, sophisticated machinery that is the human mind. Recalling a memory is like picking a book from a library. Sometimes it's right there, and sometimes it takes a bit of searching. But no matter how long it takes, the journey is always fascinating. Now that we know how memory works, how can we use this knowledge to improve our memory retention? Well, let's dive into some proven techniques that can help boost your memory. These strategies leverage the very processes of memory formation, storage, and recall that we've been discussing. First up, we have the method of loci. This is an ancient technique used by the Greeks and Romans to remember vast amounts of information. It involves visualizing a familiar place, such as your home, and placing the items you need to remember in specific locations. By mentally walking through this space, you can recall the items in order. This technique taps into our spatial and visual memory strengths, making complex information more digestible. Next, let's talk about chunking. This technique breaks down large pieces of information into smaller, manageable chunks. For instance, instead of trying to remember a long string of numbers, break them down into groups of 2s or 3s. This technique makes the information less overwhelming and easier to store in our short-term memory. Finally, don't forget the importance of regular exercise. Physical activity increases blood flow to the whole body, including the brain, and it promotes the growth of new brain cells. Exercise also helps reduce stress and anxiety, which can interfere with memory recall. So if you're studying for a big exam or trying to remember a presentation, consider going for a quick jog or doing some yoga. Keep in mind, everyone's memory works a little differently. What works for one person might not work for another. It's all about finding the right techniques that work for you. And remember, these aren't quick fixes. They're habits to incorporate into your daily life. But with practice and consistency, you'll start to see improvements in your memory retention. With these techniques, you can turn your memory into your own superpower. In summary, our memory is a fascinating, complex process that is crucial to our lives. So next time you forget why you walked into a room, remember, your memory is probably much greater than you think. If you haven't already, please consider to like this video and subscribing to our channel with the bell notification so you'll never miss out on our latest videos. We have a lot more exciting content coming your way, so stay tuned. Also, feel free to leave your thoughts on this topic in the comments below. Until next time.